بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. قول المصنف رحمه الله تعالى: يجب صوم رمضان برؤية هلاله. This is the first sentence in the matan of Zaad Al-Mustaqni, and we already have analyzed this part. It is obligatory the fasting of Ramadan by the sighting, by the sighting or the moon sighting, the new moon sighting. And we talked about this. So here the obligation of the fasting that the author is pointing to is about the ru'ya, so the beginning of the fasting, and not the fasting itself, because the fasting itself is known by معلوم من الدين بالضرورة أنه the one of the pillar of Islam. But when the starting of the fasting of Ramadan is at the رؤية الهلال, وهذا إجماع is the consensus into between the whole ummah of Islam. We mentioned about the calculation and everything. We were talking about that, but we saying that the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and the priority, inshallah, is the رؤية الهلال, the moon sighting. And if there's any, unity, of the word of all the opinion to go otherwise, then someone will follow the Jamel. But this is, we're talking, the madhab here is ru'yatul hilali. Ru'yatul hilali, the first, the birth of the moon of Ramadan. فإن لم يرى مع صحو ليلة 30 أصبحوا مفطرين. نحن the ru'ya, so the month is 29. The month is 29. The 29, and there's a possibility if the 30th. So the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, the meaning of which, قال إن غم عليكم, if you cannot see it, if you didn't see it, on the 9th of the 29th. So completing Sha'ban 29th day, and the first day of Ramadan will be that day after the 29th. What if the night of the 29th of the year, the 30th, wasn't seen? Therefore, the next day, the 30th will be iftar. قال فإن لم يرى مع صحو. So this is if the sky is clear and it was not seen. Therefore, the 30th day is iftar. There's no sawm. There's no fasting. أصبحوا مفطرين. Now, وإن حال دونه غيم أو قطر فظاهر المذهب يجب صومه. If there's a cloud, there's dust, there's a sandstorm, so there's no possibility to look at the horizon at the time of the ghurub, so there's not possibility to see it. Therefore, in this condition, without the tools, the technology that they are at disposition of the people today, in this condition, this is to understand the opinion of the author. In this condition, it might be out there, but the obstacle to not see it is the clouds, is the qatar. So here, to according to the madhab, to go through the ihtiyat, to go being precautious. What if it's there? Less than fast. The clear sky, so the effort to have the moon, the sighting of the moon was done, and then it wasn't seen. Therefore, akmilul iddah. If there's not, there's a storm and there's, cloudy day and everything is cannot be, so the visibility is impossible. So we don't know if it's there or not. That's the condition. That's actually many of the scholars, they say, in halat al-nafi, when we negate or there is no possibility, and this is one of the saying of one of the tabi'in, Ibn al-Shakhir, that many of the later scholars who defending the opinion of the calculation, they going back to his saying. But he's saying it wasn't, to openly do the calculation, but in case there is a cloud and everything, if there's a possibility to make that evaluation based on the study of the moons and the phases of the moon, to fast. And today is possible to do that. With the knowledge that before, the people who do the study of the phases of the moon, They rely on stars, and those who rely on stars, those are most fortune tellers and people who are kahana. So that's it wasn't possible for any Muslim or a believer to trust such opinion for people who do not believe. But here, when we're saying in the madhab, if it's not seen because of the clouds, then the ihtiyat is to fast it. وَإِنْ رُؤْيَ نَهَارًا فَهُوَ لِلَّيْلَةِ الْمُقْبِلَةِ. And if it was seen by day, because sometimes it's possible to see it like, close to the sunrise, or before, after time of Asr, to see the hilal. That's to say, to not get into the doubts. So it's going to be counted for the next night, قال وإن رؤي نهارا فهو لليلة المقبلة. So Ramadan will be, we should not say we missed a day, but we say this is for the next day. Because the night before, the sighting was, people, they were trying to see it, but they could not. Then if it came to be seen at the daytime, then it's like the birth of the moon happened after the sighting, which is going to be considered for the next night. وَإِذَا رَآهُ أَهْلُ بَلَدٍ لَزِمَ النَّاسَ كُلُّهُمُ الصَّوْمُ. This is here the opinion, as we said, وحدة المطالع واختلاف المطالع. وحدة المطالع واختلاف المطالع. And the madhab is for وحدة المطالع, the global moon sighting. The global moon sighting, if the moon is sighted in one country or in one part of the world, it becomes obligatory on the rest part of the world as a Muslim to see it or to fast it. And we mentioned the difference of opinion of the scholar in this. قال ويصام برؤية عدل ولو أنثى. ويصام برؤية عدل ولو أنثى. The beginning of the month starts with the witness of one person. This one person, the qualification of to be adl. Al-adl is the one known by his integrity, known by his adala. The adala is not the extreme piety, but the adala is someone known by his truthfulness. He's known to be a person of deen. A person of deen does not mean that he didn't do any sin, but person of respected, known by deen, and his shahada is accepted. His shahada is accepted. Now, in the beginning of Ramadan, is only one witness by one person is enough. One witness by one person is enough, as we said, with the condition that will be قال أن يكون عدل. أن يكون عدل. Just to see here. Yeah, that's what we stopped last time. ويصام قال برؤية عدل. برؤية عدل. Also you call عدل ثقة, someone trustworthy. والدليل حديث ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما قال تراءى الناس الهلال فأخبرت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أني رأيته فصامه وأمر الناس بصيامه. Abdullah ibn Umar, he said, people that were seeking or sighting, try to sight the new moon. قال, I saw it. Abdullah ibn Umar, he said, I saw it. And I told to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he fasted it, he fasts, and he command the people to fast. So this is the sighting of one Sahabi, and then also the hadith of Al-A'rabi, a Bedouin, that he came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he told him that he saw the hilal. He saw the new moon of Ramadan. فقال أتشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. So the Prophet ﷺ asked him, does he believe and that he witnessed, the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وأن محمدا رسول الله. So the Prophet ﷺ asked him if he is Muslim or not. قال نعم. He said نعم. Yes. فقال لبلال قم يا بلال فأذن بالناس أن يصوموا غدا. He said, يا Bilal, go ahead and make the adhan, call unto people, tell them that the fasting will be starting tomorrow. And this is, as you see, we mentioned last time that the emphasis is on the beginning of the worship, not on the accuracy or the precision and the accuracy of the beginning of the time. So, subhanallah, it is presumed the beginning of the month. Why? Because the emphasis is put on the worship itself. And this is, subhanallah, kind of the surprise, kind of the gift. Is Allah's gift to observe the fasting. So everyone, subhanallah, he's waiting kind of impatiently, waiting in a way, longing for it, bishagaf. And whoever will come and say, we saw the first, we saw the hilal, so we said, no, we need someone else. Actually, everyone wants to fast, everyone to observe the fast. That's why only one witness that he saw the hilal is enough. Therefore, when people, they say, to calculate it, for example, to be precise, precision is not ibadah. The ibadah is the worship itself. However, when it comes from fasting to make iftar, that's the question mark. Because fasting is taklif, fasting is mashaq. Someone he going to have from a normal state to a state where he going to put an effort to fast. That's why it requires only one witness. But from fasting to iftar, it might be someone want to break his fast as soon as possible. Then for the iftar, it requires 2 witnesses. واضح? So starting Ramadan, 1 witness, finishing Ramadan, at least 2 witnesses. We'll come to it, inshallah. So these both hadiths give us the evidence that the beginning of Ramadan, it was done with 1 witness. The first one, Abdullah ibn Umar. The second hadith is the A'rabi. And during the whole Ramadan, people usually, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they stopped the eating at the suhoor time by 1 call. In the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, قال إن بلالا يؤذن بليل فكلوا واشربوا حتى يؤذن ابن أم مكتوم. حتى يؤذن ابن أم مكتوم. So Bilal, when he starts to make adhan, people, they know it's time of suhoor. So people, they start to eat. When Ibn Maktoum make the adhan, he called, they know it's the end. So it's one adhan who people, they trust in stopping the eating and observing the siyam. بقوله ولو أنثى ولو, even though if he said even though in the matan, it means there's khilaf, there's difference of opinion among the scholars. So he said shahadatu قال ويصام برؤية عدل, and the fasting is commanded to be start for Ramadan by the citing of 1 person trustworthy, thiqa, a person of integrity. This person, even though it is a female, even though the person is a female, ولو أنثى. Why? Because some scholar, they make the analogy of the witness, or the one who witnessed that he saw the hilal, on the witnessing in the transaction. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال in the Quran, قال فرجلان فإن لم يكن رجلين فرجل وامرأتان أو امرأتان ممن ترضون من الشهداء. The analogy on the witnesses presented as in the transaction, they make the analogy for this. But here, as the scholar, they're saying, the analogy, it's not fitted in this situation because this is a worship, it's not a transaction. And there's no specification in the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, if you see it, so قال فصوموا صوموا لرؤيته وأفطروا لرؤيته. Fast at the sighting of the moon. So a fast, this is a command for all the Muslims, for all the Muslims. And the khabar ad-dini, as we said, the transaction, it was asked to have a man in it. For this is the prerequisite in the way of the Sharia. But here, for the al-khabar ad-dini, قال تستوي فيه المرأة والرجل. There's no difference between the man and the woman when it comes to khabarun dini, a news that is related to worship. A news related to the worship, there's no difference. That's the mean. قال ويصام برؤية عدل ولو أنثى. فإن صاموا بشهادة واحد 30 يوما فلم يرى الهلال أو صاموا لأجل غيم لم يفطروا. طيب. فإن صاموا بشهادة واحد 30 يوما. Now, the beginning of Ramadan started with a Sharia way, Shari'i way, a valid, justified, because someone who observed he witnessed that he saw the moon, the beginning or the birth of the month by the new moon. And they fasted 30 days. They fasted 30 days. ولم يروا هلال شوال. After 30 days, they still didn't see Hilal Shawwal. ويصام برؤية عدل فإن صاموا بشهادة واحد 30 يوما فلم يرى الهلال أو صاموا لأجل غيم لم يفطروا. So after 30 days and the moon was not sighted, they have to continue to fast another day. So this is according to the opinion of the author, which is mean they're going to fast 31 days. The same قال أو صاموا لأجل غيم. Also they fasted because of a precaution. They didn't have anyone who witnessed that there is no new moon. Why? Because of the cloudy day in the beginning of Ramadan. And then they fasted 30 days. And they didn't see the hilal, they have to add another day. If there is a cloud, and truly the hilal was not out there, then the hilal came the night after. So if they fasted 30 days, they might actually fasted truly 29 days, because the first day was not Ramadan. That's why by precaution he had another day. Now, for the case if someone saw it and he said, I saw it, and people, they take his shahada and they fast. At the night of the Eid, after 29 days, they didn't see it. And they have 30 days still they didn't see it. They said we have to add 1 day, because here we cannot finish Ramadan only with the witnesses of 2 people. And we don't have that. So this is an opinion. This is an opinion which, as you see in this case, they will be fasting 31 days. Some of the scholars, they're saying otherwise. If you fast 30 days, then that's it, because the beginning of your Ramadan was justified by the Sharia, by the law of the Sharia, which is you have 1 witness, that's what you need. So you're not going to doubt the witnessing of that person after 30 days. So I said the justification of the beginning of the month was done by dalil shar'i, by way of the Sharia. Then the maximum you fast is 30 days. There's no month with 31 days in the lunar calendar. فقال وقال بعض أهل العلم بل إذا صاموا 30 يوما بشهادة واحد لزمهم الفطر. If they fasted by the witnessing of 1 person 30 days, they have to break their fast the next day. Why? Because the breaking the fast, the Eid, is related to the fasting, to the beginning of it. And the beginning was done and justified by dalil shar'i. والصوم ثبت بدليل شرعي وقد صاموا 30 يوما. And it's not possible for the month to go beyond 30 days. So the first opinion, it's more about ihtiyat. But here, the second opinion is really the strongest. Why? Because you start the month with dalil shar'i. So you will not doubt the dalil shar'i in the end of the month. I said, I'm going to make the ihtiyat. The ihtiyat, you already done it by the 30 days and by the justification of the starting of the month by the dalil shar'i. Now, and for the other case, قال وأوصام لأجل غيم. So they started their Ramadan, their month, لأجل غيم, because of the cloud. Now, this situation is not really possible to happen. Because if we're going to start it with dalil shar'i, al-ghaymu is not going to be, it should not be a factor in the beginning of Ramadan. How is that? Because the author said, he said, if the night of the 30th, there's ghayim, so someone has to fast the next day. So we forced here the month to be 29 days. Why? Because we are not sure if the hilal is out there or not. But in reality, the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ قال, what he said, the Prophet قال, sight the moon, فَإِنْ غُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ فَأَكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ 30. If you don't see it, then finish the iddah 30 days. So actually, correction in the opinion that actually does not really happen, because if there's clouds and it cannot be seen, then the month is going to be 30 days anyway. So if the month you had it 30 days Shaban and you fasted 30 days in Ramadan, there is no way to add another day because that not be possible. واضح. Considering the author, if we fast and because of the cloud, as he's saying earlier, قال وإن حال دونه غيم أو قطر فظاهر المذهب يجب صوم. ظاهر المذهب, what is apparent and known among the school of thought, which is mean there's another opinion saying otherwise. The fasting was done ihtiyat. What about all the ruling concerning any date or any dues or duties that is related to the beginning of Ramadan? It will be following this hukum of ihtiyat, of precaution, or the hukum of certainty of the beginning of the month. For example, someone he has a debt to pay by the first Ramadan. Which first Ramadan we going to consider? The ghaim will not be considered. Why? Because that was done ihtiyatan, by precaution, wasn't done by certainty. If there is a separation to happen by the first of Ramadan, there is a zakat due by the first Ramadan, that date it need to be a certain date, not the ihtiyati date. That's an observation of the site. A question here that is being mentioned, if someone fasts, he started his fast with a country, then he traveled. And he traveled to another country that they fasted, or they start their fasting a day after the country where he was during Ramadan. And then when he, for example, he's in Africa and he traveled to US. In the US, they don't have Eid, but he already fasted 30 days. Will he fast with the country that he he break his fast with the country that he was in or the country that he's in now? The mas'ala goes around how many days he fasted. If he fasted 30 days, he has to break his fast. But with the etiquette of the jama'ah, he will do it secretly. He will not, like people are fasting in the last day, and he will go open like juice in front of everyone in the masjid. He said, today is my Eid. No, he will do it secretly. Voila, that's the etiquette. قال المذهب يفطر سرا لأنه إذا رؤي في بلد لزم الناس كلهم حكم الصوم والفطر. Other scholars, they said he will join the jama'ah. He will join the whole people that they are fasting. But the most important here is himself, the person, how many days he fasted. If he fasted 30 days, then he should not fast the 31st, because that extra day is going to be the day of the Eid for him. And the day of the Eid is haram to fast on the day of the Eid. طيب. ومن رأى وحده هلال رمضان ورد قوله أو رأى هلال شوال صام. طيب. Here we have two مسألتين. المسألة الأولى, the first مسألة, a person he saw the new moon, he saw the hilal, and then he went to the responsible, to the authorities, those who are in authority, to announce to the whole town, to the whole people, the beginning of Ramadan. That person didn't accept his shahada. ردت شهادته. He went to a qadi. Qadi, he does not know this person, and he might ask him a question which may be the person he does not have knowledge, because when we say in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the knowledge of the sighting of the moon, it was a common knowledge. A common knowledge. Like today, a common knowledge to use basic devices. Now, the knowledge of the sighting of the moon is not common, because people before, they based their calendar on the sighting. So when you look at the horizon and you see something, you see like maybe this is the ending of like the setting of the lights of the sun, but indeed there's, you can see, you know, in the horizon on the far left side of the setting of the sun, you can see the new moon. بالعين المجردة. And there's people, they know where to look. If someone in a situation, he's looking, you know, at the south or looking at the north, but in reality, the rise of the moon in that special place is in this, for example, at the west. So people who do not know that, which is not common knowledge, so it's difficult to accept their witness. So this person can be trustworthy, but he does not have the knowledge. So قال رد قوله. He's gonna be, his witness is going to be kind of rejected, not accepted. Or people, they are grouped together. One is say, I see it, I see it, I see it, and everybody say, where? Nobody see it. Said, I see it is there. So, you know, if this person has a good knowledge, he truly have seen it, and the people around him, they cannot, you know, differentiate, because it's a very thin line. The birth of the moon is very thin line. It's very thin. So in this case, what happened? In this case, the person who saw it, he has to fast even though his witness is rejected. Because he saw it. He said, okay, I went to the authority, they didn't believe me. They didn't accept my witness. But I saw it. So say, you fast, so you have to fast, even though everybody else is not fasting. So that's what the author said here. قال ومن رأى وحده هلال رمضان ورد قوله. And whoever who see alone the new moon of Ramadan and his statement was not accepted, صام, he has to fast. Now, what if he saw the new moon of Shawwal and his statement was not accepted? Is he going to break his fast? No, by obligation he has to fast. Both cases he's gonna fast. The first one, he saw it for the beginning of the fast. He said, even no one will have accepted your statement. You have to fast because you saw it. It becomes an obligation on you to fast. But if you saw the new moon of Shawwal, allowing you, which is like the moon, to break your fast, and your statement was rejected. Why? Because in the end of Ramadan, how many witnesses are required? At least 2. And you are alone. So you have to fast. That's why But this is everyone. Why? Because he's by himself. And he has another witness. He requires another witness. واضح? Because the Prophet ﷺ requested 2 witnesses for the iftar. 1 witness for the siyam. Well, the other people, they not follow him. It's only him who saw it. So him seeing the moon, the new moon, he said, I truly have seen it. So I said, is this for the beginning of Ramadan? If it's beginning of Ramadan, even though other people are not fasting the next day, you should fast. Now, what if it's the end of Ramadan? He said, I truly saw it. I say, everybody else are fasting or they go? He said, no, they didn't see it and they're going to fast. He said, you have to fast with them. So not the beginning of Ramadan like the end of Ramadan. Beginning of Ramadan, they require 1 witness and he was the only witness, so he has to fast, even though his statement wasn't accepted. In the end of Ramadan, he was the only witness. He needs another one. Therefore, he cannot work or act upon his own witness or his own sighting. So that's the meaning here. قال ومن رأى وحده هلال رمضان. And whoever saw by himself the new moon of Ramadan. وَرُدَّ قَوْلُهُ. His statement was not accepted. أو, or. So this is the second issue. رأى هلال شوال. He saw the hilal of Shawwal. صام. He fast. He has to fast. So in these two cases, he has to fast. واضح؟ طيب. Other scholars they have different opinion for the first one. For the second one, he has to fast, which is for Hilal Shawwal. What we consider the new moon. Consider the new moon is by only one person, which was done, justified by the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ to Abdullah ibn Umar wal-A'rabi. But we said this knowledge, it becomes something like it require knowledge. Not what it was not. I mean, it was a common knowledge, but not anymore. So scholars afterward they consider the new moon based on different principle. يقولون الهلال ما هل واشتهر لا ما رؤي. ما هل واشتهر. هل, it means like it came out and being like, known by the majority of the people. This is the new moon. So ishtahar is like there's many people that witness the seeing of the moon. And then al-ishhar or al-ishtihar is the principle to base on which the beginning of the month is based, and not on seeing it. The just mujarrad al-ru'ya. They say, I saw it, let's start the month. They said, no, like it's been seen in this area, it's been seen in this area, in this neighborhood. So that's when the month started. Therefore, the first person who saw it on his own, according to this opinion, he should also not fast, according to this opinion. But the school of thought, of the author, it seems to be, strong in a way of the person who saw it. Because the person, he had the knowledge and he's certain of that, he has to fast because he cannot deny what he has seen. But if someone, for example, is old or he has like problem with his own sight, and kind of people, they were, even argue, where did you see it? That's not possible. Things like that, to say, you better not fast. So it depends. طيب. Um, for Ramadan is different than the other months, because the Prophet ﷺ, for Hilal Shawwal, he said 2 witnesses, right? And Ramadan is the longing to the fasting, that it's everyone, he want the celebration start with the fasting. So the good news, when someone is looking forward to a good news, he will celebrate it with the less number possible when he get it. He just waiting. He say, someone, at the far door, say, people are waiting for someone they love. He said, he's here. Everybody will start to, to be happy and everything. They're not say he's here. Bring us another witness to say that he's here, So just that spontaneity when someone is looking or longing for a good news, it does not require further verification. That's how, subhanallah, the believer they will be waiting for Ramadan. The other months, and especially the end of Ramadan, require 2. Because people say, tomorrow, the Eid, you're going to stop fasting. And it's a moment of melancholy, because people, they want to continue the fasting, but in the same time, they want to celebrate the Eid. And that's, here the piety, there's people have a question mark. They want to, this he said, enough for fasting. So he said, you have to bring 2 witnesses, which is apply also for the rest of the months, and especially for the month of Dhul Hijjah. The month of Dhul Hijjah is required 2 witnesses. 2 witnesses. And then, even when someone, you saw it on himself, the wuquf of Arafah and the fasting of the day of Arafah is related to the majority, those, who are announcing the Hilal, not the one who saw it on his own. And the wuquf Arafah is when the Hajj is there. Because some people sometimes, they want to doubt. He said the moon was not seen and everything. He said, subhanallah, the wuquf of Arafah is when the Hujjaj are in Arafah. The most merciful, he will not make tajalli on his servant when they are not there. Subhan. طيب. قال ويلزم الصوم لكل مسلم مكلف قادر. This is are the requirement or شروط المكلف في الصوم. We'll start it inshallah after the break, after the salah. We will have Brother Ibrahim to, I don't know who's among you who ordered for the book, and then if you have received, did you receive النظم الحبير في علوم القرآن وأصول التفسير? Did you receive the email? The English one, that's one of the previous notes. But did you receive the email? It has the nuzum. طيب, we'll have Brother Ibrahim to print few pages from here, inshallah, for everyone. So, which these few pages, their translation and their meaning in the notes that you had, in English, because the nudum is the same as what you have over there. And inshallah ta'ala, we'll look at the book that is going to be also the reference of our study, which is Al-Itqanu fi Ulum al-Quran. But after the Salah, we'll continue inshallah ta'ala with the book of Siyam from Zaad Al-Mustaqni bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Jazakumullah khair. See you after the break. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد يقول المصنف رحمه الله تعالى طيب let's have ما شاء الله طيب طيب, we'll talk about the book Al-Itqan, and whoever who wants a copy, when we start inshallah the Itqan, the Ulum al-Quran, he can get it from Brother Ibrahim inshallah. طيب, قلنا ويلزم الصوم لكل مسلم مكلف قادر. Fasting is an obligation on every Muslim mukallaf qadir. So the first condition for someone to fast, the first item of the obligation of fasting is to be Muslim. To be Muslim. قال ويلزم الصوم لكل مسلم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah At-Tawbah, قال وما منعهم أن تقبل منهم نفقاتهم إلا أنهم كفروا بالله ورسوله. What have their nafaqah to not be accepted? Because they denied Allah and His Messenger. And the nafaqah, which is the zakat or anything that they give, it will be not accepted without the iman. And then the iman is the Islam. So the first condition of accepting or of the obligation of the fasting is al-Islam. قال, the second one, قال مكلف. مكلف. What is al-mukallaf? Mukallaf is responsible. He's the commissioned. He's the one charged to do. He's in charge to fulfill the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To fulfill the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala require two things, or mainly require the فهم الخطاب. التكليف شرطه فهم الخطاب. التكليف is condition is to understand the command. To understand the command, it has two conditions. البلوغ والعقل. البلوغ والعقل. The puberty and the sanity, that someone is sane. That's what means البلوغ. مكلف. So to be mukallaf require the understanding of al-khitab. To understand and comprehend the command can be fulfilled by two conditions, which are al-bulugh wal-aql. Al-bulugh is to reach the age of puberty. At the age of puberty, 15 years, or it has different signs. Al-aqilu, the opposite of it is the insane, the one who subhanallah, he is insane. قادر, the third one is qadir. He's capable to fast, able to fast. والقدرة, it has two types. The ability to fast, someone is able. Therefore, if someone is not able, in the incapacity or the non-capacity to fast, it comes in two ways. Ways that is temporary and is ways that is non-temporary. قال عجز طارئ وعجز وقسم دائم. So when someone is not able to fast, it's either because he's sick or fast or has some condition, temporary condition. But there's people who have a chronic condition. So Al-Qadiru, who the one who able to fast. And those who are not able to fast, they are, divided in two categories. The first category is the temporary inability to fast, or the chronic inability to fast. For the temporary one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. Make it up in later days. وَالدَّائِمُ, the chronicle, is the one that there's no way, or like, someone is not expecting or thinking that what he has as inability to be recovered. This is inspired from Allah saying what they have to do. Is Allah saying in Surah Al-Baqarah 184, قال وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين. This is inspired from this ayah, explanation by Ibn Abbas. This is related to the old people. The old people who they come to a level that will not be, it's going to be harsh and hard for them to fast. So in this condition, they pay fidya. Fidya, the fidya is type of, feeding a miskin. Feeding a miskin per 1 day. 1 day non-fasted, they feed a miskin. But scholars, they're saying this ayah 184 from Surah Al-Baqarah, it was in the beginning of the fasting, where people, they had the option to fast or to not fast. If they do not fast, they have to pay fidya. But Ibn Abbas, radiyallahu ta'ala anh, he saw in this ayah also for those who are unable to fast and their inability is chronic. So I said, if they cannot fast, what remains is the fidya. But other explanation of the ayah, يطيقونه أي طاق الشيء, he can do it, but with hardship. So those who had the hardship, especially talking about old people, they cannot fast. Then they pay the fidya. They pay the fidya. So here, those who are, temporary inability to fast, they make it up in later days. And those who cannot make it up the later days because their situation, it's not curable or in this condition. So what they have to do, they pay a fidya. والإطعام, الإطعام, to feed, it has different ways. Different ways. It's either to pay for every day a fidya, and this fidya that you pay every day, you can pay it for one person or different person, or to have the whole fidya in the end of Ramadan for the 30 days, to pay it for one person or to distribute it among as many people the person wants. So these are ways how to pay the fidya of as-siyam. The fidya, one fidya is for one miskin. So you have to give a meal for one miskin. But when you have 30 days, will you give it to one person or you have to give it to 30 person? We said you can give it for one person as you can give it to 60 person. Voila. So whatever it will be, satisfying meal to them. Can someone give it to some? And then you can give it as cooked meal or as raw. So you give sa' from wheat, for example, plus other thing that goes. So it's going to be meal. Meal is have, for example, it's meat and everything. You give fresh something and the person to prepare it, or you give him something to buy. So it depends on the situation of the person you're going to be feeding. طيب. ويلزم الصوم لكل مسلم مكلف قادر وإذا قامت البينة في أثناء النهار وجب الإمساك والقضاء على كل من صار في أثنائه أهلا لوجوبه. طيب. Here he mentioned another مسألة. You have the same method I have, right? That's the next sentence, right? Because here I'm thinking he has something else. He's not talking about muqim, right? You don't have it. طيب. قال وإذا قامت البينة في أثناء النهار وجب الإمساك والقضاء على كل من صار في أثنائه أهلا لوجوبه. In a community you have different people. You have the young people, the child, you have the mukallafin, you have the old people, you have the sick people. Everyone that day, in the beginning of the day, nobody knows it was Ramadan. Then the bayyinah, the proof, the evidence that it is Ramadan, just, people, they learn it late. So what if in the middle of the day, it will be announced that actually Ramadan is today? For anyone who's not supposed to fast, he's not going to fast. Because there's manna, women with their menses, they're not going to fast. People, sick, they're not going to fast. But those who are supposed to fast, they have to yu'alliqun. It's like make the imsak. So their fasting starts at the moment of hearing the bayyinah, the proof or the evidence that it is Ramadan. And they have to make up that day. For example, at 3 p.m., someone said, actually, it was today Ramadan. At the time when he hears it, if he is eating something, he will stop. That's it, it's Ramadan. And he has to make that day. So what he said, قال وَإِذَا قَامَتِ الْبَيِّنَةُ. So if the evidence of the beginning of Ramadan, was spread or announced during the day, it becomes obligatory al-imsak, to hold on fasting, on eating, wal-qada'u, and to make it up on everyone that was supposed to fast at that time. على كل من صار في أثنائه أهلا لوجوبه. واضح؟ طيب. There's in the sharh, there's some other masail. We can go through them because they're important, mashallah. طيب. Some of the other masail, one of the other condition that we can add to the obligation of the fasting, it is أن يكون مقيم, so he's not traveling. He's not traveling. So being resident, that's one other, because if someone during the travel and he heard Ramadan, there's no obligation on that person to fast. There's no obligation on that person to fast. And then the question, what will be better when someone is traveling, is to fast or not to fast? Let's say what help in the decision in this condition is what will be easy for the person. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yuridu Allahu bikum al-yusra. Allah intend for you ease. Wow. So if fasting during the travel it's easy for the person and he prefers to do it, is allowed to do it. Some other scholar, of course, they say no, because that's what is the rukhsa. For the Hanbali school, for the Shafi'i school, it was saying it's better to fast. But we're saying, subhanallah, the way to go through it is based on the intent of the fasting and the intent of to have the rukhsa, to not fast during the travel, which is actually al-yusr, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yuridu Allahu bikum, Allah intend for you ease. Allah intend for you ease. The Hanbali school, the better is to not fast. The Shafi'i said is the better is to fast. But in reality, is to someone analyze the situation. If his fasting is very hard, then it is recommended to not fast. And if it is fasting going to hurt a person, then it's haram to fast. And if the fasting is going to make it easy for that person, because it might put him in a condition better than he will not fast. It depends on the person. Then in this condition, why not? Because he going to fast in Ramadan, he doesn't have, because the one who does not fast, he has to make it up anyway. So I said, it's better I fasted now because I feel it's easy. I don't have any hardship in doing that. Wada. So it depends on the decision and how easy for the person to observe that they fasting or not fasting. Because there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ said, it's not from righteousness to fast in travel. But this hadith was specific for a person. He was, he cannot even walk. It was very hot. And he cannot even walk. So he was like held by two people and he was walking. So the Prophet ﷺ said, what happened to this person? He said, he's fasting. قال ليس من البر أن يصوم العبد في السفر. That's not from righteousness to be in the situation of this person. So this is a specific situation. It's not from ليس من البر أن يصوم الصوم في السفر. This should not be generalized for any condition. The hadith is related to an event, and this event that this person cannot even walk. He's holding on two people. So the Prophet ﷺ looked and said, what happened? He said he's fasting. قال ليس من البر الصوم في السفر. But the Prophet ﷺ in another hadith, he said everyone fasting, and him he was not fasting, and him he was fasting, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Him and Abdullah ibn Rawaha in one of the hadith. So it depends on the situation. One situation, the people who are fasting, they could not do anything. Those who are not fasting, they were helping their brother who was fasting. The Prophet ﷺ قال ذهب المفطرون اليوم بالأجر. Those who were not fasting, they collected the whole reward because they are helping their brother and they carrying and everything. So it depends on the situation. Yes.
I'm just interpreting that Allah likes you to take advantage of this rasa, the same way that He likes you to stay away from the high.
Well, that's the same way that He wants you to take the azima. The azima is the obligation, and the rukhsa. The rukhsa is only decreed if there is a azima. There is no rukhsa when there is no azima, which is mean there's an obligation, and the rukhsa, the permission, comes because of that obligation exists. So the rukhsa, it happened in a situation Allah offer you this rahmah. So to take in advantage of the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what He wants. But if you take the azima at that time, it's not really you are rejecting the rahmah. You are like using that rahmah because you are not in need of that permission. So when someone is in need of that permission, like he's going to hardship, so Allah wants you to take this rukhsah. That's why you collect all the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, someone being in a hardship, he cannot even walk. So he said, yeah, this is an obligation on you to not fast. Because Allah gave you, Allah offered you His rahmah, and you're declining His rahmah. So there, this hadith that you mentioned, or the saying, it's not ala itlaqiha. It's not to be used on its absolute meaning. So it needs to be like considered within its context. Like this hadith, for example, this hadith, قال ليس من البر الصوم في السفر, which is mean like every time someone is traveling, he has to, it's like it's not pious, it's not righteous to do the fasting during the travel. So it needs to be taken in its context. And the principle here is to go around the darar. Where there's darar, there's the rukhsa. The more darar, the more rukhsa is required to be implemented, to the point that the rukhsa becomes an obligation. Because if there is the darar, the harm is certain, then the rukhsa becomes an obligation, not only rukhsa. That's why, based on the context, that you find the difference of opinion between the scholars. The Hanbali say it's better to not fast. The Shafi'i say it's better to fast. But to look at it from different angles, you find both of them are right. So it depends on the context. طيب. قال وإذا قامت البينة في أثناء النهار وجب الإمساك والقضاء على كل من صار في أثنائه أهلا لوجوبه. And this is, we already mentioned about that. Why? And this is here قال والقضاء أي يلزم قضاء ذلك اليوم. يلزم قضاء ذلك اليوم. والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إنما الأعمال بالنيات. So the action is based on the intention. The action based on the intention. قال شيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية يلزمهم الإمساك ولا يلزمهم القضاء ووجه ذلك أن أكلهم وشربهم قبل قيام البينة كان مباحا قد أحله الله لهم فلم ينتهكوا حرمة الشهر بل كانوا جاهلين بنوا على أصل وهو بقاء شعبان فيدخلون في عموم قوله تعالى ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا. According to one statement of Ibn Taymiyyah, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah said they should not make up the day. Why? Because they were non-fasting, because for them it was the completion of the month of Sha'ban. So they were eating and drinking with Dalil Shari. Now if they heard that is Ramadan, so they have to stop. But they should not make it up. They should not make it up. But in reality, to make the ihtiyat, because it depends on the news, if someone, they said, oh, we didn't see the Hilal, so tomorrow, inshallah, the Ramadan will be after tomorrow. We'll complete Sha'ban. And then they heard it. So it might be their mistake to not have the full taharri. Therefore, the qada, as the author saying, it will be the most ahwat, the most, the stronger as opinion, inshaAllah ta'ala. وقوله على كل من صار في أثنائه أهلا للوجوب. So during this time when someone reach him or reach her the bayyinah, the proof that is Ramadan, anyone who is supposed to fast, he should fast. So here there's kind of cases, because it depends, subhanallah, sometimes you encounter cases that they're not common cases. First case قال أن يكون من أهل الوجوب من قبل الفجر فيلزمه الإمساك بمجرد قيام البينة في أثناء النهار. A person who was mukallaf before Fajr, therefore he has to make the imsak. When he hear the Ramadan during the day, he has to stop eating and initiate his fasting from the time he heard the news. The second, أن يصير من أهل الوجوب في أثناء النهار قبل قيام البينة. Someone, he become, for example, he accepted Islam at Dhuhr time. The news of Ramadan comes at Asr. He wasn't from Ahl al-Wujub, so he has to make him sick. To the me become, he just accept Islam. We just heard Ramadan. You call the brother, say, by the way, we just heard today Ramadan. It was, we didn't know, but you have to start your fasting now. Yes. The third case, the first case, the third case, that the bayyinah of coming of Ramadan, it happened at duha time, after the shuruq. And that person, for example, he's unconscious. He's not Muslim. He didn't even accept his Islam. So you cannot say you're intending to become Muslim, you start fast now. No, because he's not from Ahlul Wujub. Someone is unconscious. Someone, subhanallah, he's not in his mental capacity at that time, So he only become from Ahlul Wujub. For example, if Ramadan started or the news started on Duha, his beginning of fasting becomes only when he becomes mukallaf. As long as he's not mukallaf, he cannot. Wada. It comes bulugh, it comes someone, unconscious, and he just, his conscience can get back to him, etc., things like that. So these are the condition when the news of Ramadan comes, depends on the category of the people that the news reached them. يقول here I read من قام به سبب الوجوب أثناء نهار رمضان. Someone, the condition of obligation, the condition for the fasting becomes obligatory on this person, happened to him during Ramadan, during the day of Ramadan. It might be the first week of Ramadan, the second week of Ramadan. Example, someone who accepted Islam, someone who reached the age of puberty, during Ramadan, someone who was insane and he got recovered. These people, يلزمهم الإمساك والقضاء. They have to initiate the Ramadan, the fasting that particular day, and they make up the Ramadan from that day. They have to make up that particular day only. And this is what is the strongest opinion in the Hanbali school and also in the Hanafi school. The second opinion, also second opinion in the Hanbali school, قال لا يلزمهم إمساك ولا قضاء. They should not, because they weren't fasting, they should not initiate the fasting during the day. that day is gone, and they should not make it up. And this is another opinion in the Ahmed school, Imam Ahmed school. The third opinion, they is obligatory on them imsak, obligatory on them al-imsak. So they have to stop eat. But they do not have to make it up. And this is also another opinion in the school of thought of Imam Ahmed. And this is the opinion that is defended by Ibn Taymiyyah. And it is the official opinion of the Maliki school. And according to the author, this is the strongest opinion. And is really, if we analyze the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, you'll find that it is. Why? Because what if you're fasting and you drink and you eat just by forgetfulness? You forget. You continue, when you remember, you continue your fasting. Do you have to redo that day or not? You don't do it, right? You don't redo it. So if you're eating and you're drinking, you don't know that it's Ramadan, and someone tells you it's Ramadan now. I said, when did you? He said, just announce it. Look, I said, okay, you stop eating and drinking, but you don't make it up because you didn't. When you were eating, you didn't know that it's Ramadan. Like the same case, when you forget that it's the day of Ramadan and someone remind you. If you see someone in Ramadan eating and drinking, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We're talking about Ramadan, make us food. Which is, I think, is hot in the room too. Bismillah. If you see someone eating and drinking in Ramadan, would you stop him right away, or you wait till he'll finish eating to tell him, you know, by the way, it's Ramadan? Or you told him, stop. Because he didn't know, he just forget. And the hadith of Prophet ﷺ, قال إنما الله يطعمه ويسقيه. This is a gift from Allah. He's feeding him and giving him to drink. But you're not that person, and you see in him or you see in her eating. So someone, for example, in blazing heat, and he getting like a bucket of water, just get it fresh from the well, he just forget, and he want to drink. Are you gonna say, you know, I make like I didn't see him? And then he say, oh, it's Ramadan. He said, astaghfirullah. So what you'll do? Are you gonna be Rahim, merciful to this person, let him drink, and then tell him, by the way, it was Ramadan? Or you have to order him? You let him drink. No, you have to tell him. قال من رأى منكرا فليغير. He's not munkar, but he's the wrong thing. It's Ramadan, and you know him that he usually fasts. But he's gonna tell you, why you didn't let me drink? First. Subhanallah, everyone has his own taklif. He's absent mind at that time, but you have all your capacity, and you know it's Ramadan. So the order, subhanallah, is to enjoy the good. Enjoying the good according to the way of Allah is to remind him the fasting, or to close your eyes on the fasting. Huh? To enjoy the good is to remind him the fasting. This is actually a mas'ala that happened, you know, because once someone was screaming at a person to not drink. So that person, he got mad at him. He told him, why you didn't let me drink? So they went to the scholar to dispute the argument. Alhamdulillah. طيب. قال طيب وإذا قامت البينة في أثناء النهار وجب الإمساك والقضاء على كل من صار في أثنائه أهلا لوجوبه. واضحة. This is I will read it in English. And if the proof البينة, the proof of the beginning of Ramadan was announced during the day, it becomes obligatory on everyone who's supposed to fast Ramadan to stop the eating and drinking. He had to initiate his fasting from the moment he hears the news. واضح. وكذا حائض ونفساء طهورتا. Someone, she's in post-delivery, or a lady in her menses, and they just get purified. You know, the bleeding stop in the day of Ramadan. At the end of the bleeding, they have to make the imsak. كذا, the same for حائض ونفساء. طهورتا. الطهارة, what is the sign of the purification here? الطهارة is the ceasing or the stop of the bleeding. We have another case. This is also for the salah. For the salah, the time when the bleeding stop, that's how required when they're gonna do pray. If happen after Asr, they have to pray Dhuhr and Asr. If it happened before Fajr, they have to pray Maghrib and Isha. If it happened after Fajr, they only have to pray Fajr. واضح؟ طيب. Here for al-Ha'id wal-Nufasa, the iftar was for mana. The iftar is different than the other cases. They were not fasting because of a special condition. To prevent this condition, prevent them from fasting and praying. The fasting for this condition need to be make up. The salat, no. The salat, no. That's why we said the salat, they don't make up for those days, but they make up for the moment from where they get, clean. طيب. The other one, قال سبحان الله وإن في ومسافر قدم مفترا. ومسافر قدم مفترا. Do you have أمسك? Do you have it? Okay, so because there's another narration or another copy, we say قال ومسافر قدم مفترا أمسك. A traveler, you just come back from a travel. During the travel, you were non-fasting. When you get home before Maghrib, you should not eat. You make the imsak, well, because you get back to your residence, then you observe the fasting from the time you get back. That's the meaning of it. قال ومسافر قدم مفطرا. He arrived while he started his day, non-fasting. He will make the imsak when he get to home. Let's read here. Ahmed Al-Imam Ahmad, he has another narration concerning this مسألة. قال لا يلزمهم الإمساك لأنهم يجوز لهم الفطر في أول النهار ظاهرا وباطنا، فقد حل لهم في أول النهار الأكل والشرب وسائر ما يمكن من المفطرات ولا يستفيدون من هذا الإمساك شيئا. More further analysis, they said as it was the eating and drinking was allowed to them in the beginning of the day, then the imsak is not going to add anything. And as they started non-fasting, then they should finish the day non-fasting. وحرمة الزمن قد زالت بفطرهم المباح لهم أول النهار. And the sanctity of the time to not fast, it was, removed by the fact that they start their day non-fasting. وقد روي عن عبد الله بن مسعود, it was narrated on behalf of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud رضي الله تعالى عنه on his authority, أنه قال من أكل أول النهار فليأكل آخره. He said, whoever who starts eating the first of the beginning of the day, he should finish the day also eating and drinking, which is mean whoever was allowed to him to eat in the beginning of the day, then he will continue the rest of the day. And this is he saying, the author here, قال, and this is the strongest opinion in this mas'ala. And based on this, the traveler who came back, from a place, and he was non-fasting because of a travel, he will come back. He had the right to continue that day because he started it non-fasting. Other condition that help us to come up with the principle or with the rule that we can apply to different conditions. Someone, he broke his fast because he jumped in the sea or in the river to help and save someone was drowning. He broke his fast. He does not have to make the imsak afterward. The same, for example, people helping in, stopping a fire, because it's going to be very hard for someone to fast when they're fighting fires and things. And he will break his fast because of such thing is allowed. He doesn't have to make the imsak afterwards. And the qaida saying, and this is in the book of Al-Mumta ibn Al-Uthaymin rahimahullah ta'ala. He's saying, القاعدة على هذا القول الراجح أن من أفطر في رمضان لعذر يبيح الفطرة. Whoever who was breaking the fast in Ramadan for a reason or an excuse allowing him or her to break the fast. And then that reason zalat, that reason is gone. The reason for which he break the fast non-existent, is not there anymore. You broke your fast because you're helping someone. You have to break your fast. You help that person. Are you going to come back to your fasting? He said, no, that's it. You broke it, you continue the day. You were traveling, so you were not fasting because you're traveling. You came back to your residence. So al-udru, the reason for which you broke your fast is not, is gone. Someone will continue non-fasting. Wada. Example, someone, this is true in many of the conditions. Someone, he combined two prayer because of a reason. He said, I will be traveling, or I'll have a meeting. I will not be able to pray Asr. So I'll combine it with Dhuhr. When he went to work and everything, they canceled the meeting. Does he have to pray Asr again? No, he already prayed it. Because the reason for which he made the combining between the prayer, it allowed him to combine. But when the reason it's not there anymore or being cancelled, the action will not be cancelled that you have done, that you have initiated because of that reason. Well, the same, you start combining the prayer because of the rain. While you're praying, the rain stopped. You're going to say, no, you continue as we studied before. This is a ruling that we can apply on many things. Now, tfadl. That's the thing is, subhanallah, yeah, he redo it. Yeah. And any rukhsa that for someone to do it, redo it, without, that rukhsa, for example, the rukhsa that for which he broke the fast is still existing or cancelled or is gone. But in the beginning, that rukhsa required to redo the day. You have to redo it. Like the travel. Because the travel, Allah قال فعدة من أيام الأخرى. The other one, they didn't know that is Ramadan. And they had to make him sick because they heard the news of Ramadan afterward. So thus we make the qiyas on the one that he ate and drank without knowledge or by forgetting. So he doesn't have to redo it. Voila. Someone, for example, there's a situation between these two. If someone intentionally does something, break the fast, then to expiate that day is gonna how many days? 60 days. We're gonna do it. If you drank by mistake, by forgetting, you continue your fasting and you don't remake that day. Now, the situation between both, someone wants to swim in a swimming pool. He has a confidence that he will not drink. But here he said a confidence with doubt. Then here there is what we call shibhul amd. Closely to the intentionally, done it, because if you go to swim, it's better for you to not swim in the day of Ramadan because of the risk. But if you take the risk, then here you have to redo that day, but only one time, because you didn't do it truly intentionally. But as the risk, you didn't protect yourself from the risk. So if someone, for example, he will drink by, way of forgetfulness, he will not redo the day. But if he will get into situation when he risking that he might drink, then he has to do the day. Let's see how time we have. It's 6:30. Should we get to the next class, or when you supposed to have? It's time of the break soon, right? طيب, in 5 minutes, inshallah, I will give you the break, and we come back after Salat al-Isha. طيب. So we'll stop here, bi'idhnillah. Where did we stop here? Okay, so we'll start next time. وَمَنْ أَفْطَرَ لِكِبَرٍ أَوْ مَرَضٍ. That's where we're going to start, inshallah.
you توجه this opinion which is لا زالت الحضر يعني that hold let's say the شرح it's also bringing up a different opinion from Ahmed saying
نعم.
for instance رواية عبد الله بن مسعود من أكل أول النهار فليأكل آخره.
نعم.
So are you emphasizing the opinion of the scholar which is
So this is the second opinion of Imam Ahmed, and this is the strongest opinion.
so which one are you thinking?
That's the one. That's the one. But with making up. Yeah. Because the scholar, they're saying you doing imsak, there's there's no strong reason or benefit in doing the imsak in the end of the day. For example, someone, he's like coming back from travel around 5 p.m. He's gonna do the imsak. He already started the day non-eating. He was eating in the plane or in the bus and everything. So he already started with his, let's say, with a valid excuse, with a valid reason. So if this valid reason does not exist in the rest of the day, will not revoke the hukum. As we said, the ruling that we can apply in many conditions. In the salat, in many things. So when you initiate an action based on a valid reason, if that reason does not continue for the rest of the day, it will not obligate you to revoke the hukum, because you start the hukum with an intention that was justified by hukum shari. That's the analysis of the mas'ala. Any other question?